Good afternoon, YouTube. How are you this afternoon? I'm pretty good. It's about 5 p.m. on Friday, and just got done with the day. We had some tutoring this afternoon, and that went pretty well. Business first, I guess. It's been an interesting week. We have a very, very small class this week. We started out with 16, which is the lowest that I've seen since I've been here. And unfortunately, we lost one this morning who had to go on, had a family emergency and had to go home. He'll be back, hopefully. And because he was in class yesterday, he was really, really good. Sorry to see him go this morning. He took to it right off the bat, and it's not good when they have to leave due to a family emergency, because you never know how long they're going to be gone. I'm not really sure on the policy on it. I think when you go on leave, you have to check in every 4. I know you have to check in every 48 hours, let them know your status. And I think depending on what it is, I think you can be gone up to 7 days or 10 days or something like that. I'm not really sure. The people who handle that kind of thing are more knowledgeable than I am. But this class is small and they're really good. They got no more academic challenges than we normally have. I do know that of course the student-teacher ratio is much higher than it normally is. I think it usually runs, usually 4 students to, we usually have 4 teachers, 3 or 4 teachers, and it usually runs about, 10 to 1. Well, they're running about 4 to 1 right now because we have so many teachers on the floor and so few students, 4 or 5 to 1. So everybody's getting a little bit more hands-on and one-on-one training, which is good for them, all the way around. Yesterday, a new class came in. They started the same old schedule, eye to side. And today we did shotguns, and tomorrow we'll start doing multiples. And we'll kind of get things knocked out. The class is moving pretty fast. For some parts of hands-on, we're well ahead of the schedule. The driver qualifications that we do in hands-on are all finished. We don't have any left. There's 4 of them. Usually we do 1 a day and stagger them out over the course of the whole program. Well, we got all 4 of them done today because we got done early enough, which was good because the humidity spiked as storms were coming in, and it got really, really hot in the bays. And we cut loose about 1:45 and then it started to rain and got really, really muggy, and then it cooled off, and we were able to do tutoring this afternoon instead of waiting until coming in at 4 o'clock in the morning to do it. This class is, like I said, they're doing awesome, and look for good things for them. Tomorrow we do multiples, and then I'm off for 2 days. And it's 4th of July weekend, so we'll still have classes on Monday, but they'll probably cut back early on that day, and by getting all the driver quals done, hopefully it'll help. Not really sure what next week's going to hold. I know that currently we have the full class. I think it's 24 or 26. I don't remember. But with it being a holiday weekend, we may have some no-shows. I know we had 6 this last week, and it really doesn't make any sense, to be honest, for people to go through the whole process of applying and getting approved and getting getting a scheduled orientation and accepting a tentative job offer and then not show up. Because when that happens, generally, unless you got a really good excuse, we don't give you a second chance, I don't think. I mean, if something happened and you weren't able to make it, there was an emergency or something happened in your travel plans and you weren't able to get here, I know that they reschedule you, but if you just accept a tentative and then don't show up at all and don't call, you don't tell us you can't make it, then I think you don't get another chance. I'm not really sure. Couple other things. I got my schedule for this coming month. My boss told me that I will definitely be here through the end of this month. At present, unless something changes, My last day working in the training center will be the 28th, and then that's a Thursday, and then I'll have that weekend off, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I mean Friday, Saturday, Sunday, excuse me, um, to get my stuff in order, and then I'll go back on the road starting Monday. The tentative plan, as it stands right now, is of course I'll just continue working like it is, and then on the 28th I'll work the 28th, and that night I'll pack up what I need to take home that won't go in the truck. You know, there's some things I have here that just won't go in the truck, like my curtains and some other things, and probably my refrigerator, because I'm hoping to get a truck with a refrigerator. Now, if I don't get one, of course I'll keep that, but the stuff that I do not need, like my big tower fan and a few other things, I'll take all that home on Thursday night or Friday morning and spend the weekend at the house, and then have my wife drive me back up here on Sunday, and to spend the night. We'll stay down at one of the hotels down in Little Rock, probably either Galloway or maybe the Red Roof or somewhere else. I don't know. And then I'll get my truck on Monday and start back in the world of actual driving again. I'm kind of torn. I really like being here. The downsides of being here are money wise. The big one's money wise, because I definitely do not make as much money being in here as I would driving. You know, you have the potential to make much more, week over week as a driver than of course you do in here. The upside of that is that you have a steady paycheck. I know exactly how much I'm going to get every payday, down to the penny, and so that's a boon. That's a boon. But unfortunately, sometimes not sometimes, just right now, unfortunately, it's just not enough. I need more money, and looking forward to going back on the road for a while. That's not to say I may not come back if they ask me again. It's all just really going to depend on the financial situation, what the offer is, and so forth and so on like that. I do know that when you come in to help them out and work in the bays for extended period of times, or in the training center, that when you go, they really try to give you a new truck. And I'm hoping to get a 17 with a refrigerator and all the bells and whistles. That would be really nice. The downside of being here, though, is I know that in this environment, I'm better. I think I've said it before. I'm better working in the bays, doing hands-on, face-to-face instruction and correction. I'm not all that great of a classroom lecturer, and I'm not really sure why that is. I think mostly because I don't do banter. You know, I mean, I can tell jokes and I can give little examples that are funny and kind of get the class motivated, but I don't have that flair that a lot of the instructors do to make the whole thing, completely engaging. And most of the instructors seem to have that. I know straight up that I don't. I've never been a super engaging lecturer. I could get the information across. I think mostly because I'm so literal, and I believe in factual dissemination of information. The other problem that I know that I have, that I work on, I've been working on it for 47 years, or as long as I've needed to anyway, is I have a very low tolerance for inability to follow directions. And even in my own family, I have this problem. And I believe that if you properly tell someone something, instruct them in what you want, or communicate in such a way that whatever you said is pretty clear cut, and that person turns around and still does not do what you asked them to do, either in a timely manner or even remotely correctly, I have an impatience issue with that. It's kind of different from when I'm in the training base. If I'm teaching someone how to do a hookup or how to throw a chain or a strap or something like that, and they don't accomplish it off the bat, that's understandable because they've never done it before, or they're learning to do it. It takes repetition to be able to continuously produce the same thing. I mean, take number 2 hookups, for example, and they're a type of hookup where you bring the chain down through the stake pocket of the rub rail, and you come up around a round spool, and then you hook the chain back to itself. It's a fairly simple hookup. However, it does take repetition and practice to be able to get it to where it's tight and does not is not easily slung back and forth every time. You know, there's a knack to it, and it takes practice. Anybody can make a number one hookup as long as they understand how it goes, and that goes down between the spools and then up through the stake pocket and hooks in. And for those of you that don't work in this industry or have no idea what I'm talking about, I apologize. But basically, what I'm trying to say is, those kinds of things, I have patience explaining and dealing with their mistakes because those kinds of things take repetition and practice. What I'm talking about is general literal instruction where you say, okay, we need you to do A, B, and C, and then before you can complete D, and this may not necessarily be in the training base, but maybe in the classroom, we need you to do this assignment, and then you need to do this, and then this. But they, instead of doing this, they just skip to this and forget everything in between. And I have especially when you tell somebody that, and then they turn around and say, I understand. And that's what I'll do. And within 1 minute, they don't do it. I'm getting no offense. I'm getting hot just thinking about it because it's that kind of inability to follow directions and attention to detail that really frustrates me, because this industry, especially in flatbed, attention to detail is almost all of the job. Because you're given information on a load or a procedure to do, and then if you don't follow it and you make a mistake and something happens, it could be catastrophic. Just beyond. I'll give a perfect example. Or it can even you can lose a customer over it. Let me give you a good example. If we have a customer that requires a certain type of hookup or a certain type of layout or job, and when you get your load dispatch on your OmniTrax, and it gives you your information, all the information, your pickup, where you're delivering to, what it is, and all that stuff. But if you don't scroll all the way down to the message and read the special instructions section, where it says, this customer requires triple tarping, where you put down 2 canvas tarps before you put on the vinyl tarp. That's 3 tarps. And you say, you know what, you don't read that, and you go to the customer and you load the load, and you do what we normally do, which is double tarping. You throw 1 canvas tarp on top, put a vinyl tarp on top of it, and drive off. And you get to that customer, and you pull inside, and they tell you to untarp, and you pull off that vinyl tarp, and then you pull off a canvas tarp, and you don't have a second one on there. That's a violation of that customer's instructions. They have every right to refuse that load. And if it happens enough, or if it's just a bad day, you show up and do that on a bad day, they can call Maverick and say, hey, you know what, we're not doing business with you anymore. And we lose that account, or we take skidded aluminum coils. We're not supposed to use bungees above the second row of rings on a tarp. Well, if you do it, what happens is the bungees vibrate and it causes a harmonic, which damages the aluminum. We have that do that enough, and the customer can go, you know what, you guys can't seem to follow a simple instruction, so we're going to take our business elsewhere. And that could cost Maverick hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars. And we try to instill in the classes a lot of, you need to read instructions when we give you load sheets for these learner builds, and follow the directions exactly. Or if we give you verbal instructions on what you need to do right now, then you need to follow those instructions. Straight up. It's not that difficult. Well, I've ranted off on that one long enough. But basically what it boils down to is I really, really like this job, but I know I have some shortcomings, and I have some pet peeves that make me not the best classroom teacher or teacher in general. But then again, no person's perfect. So I'm going to be here another month, 27 days, because today's the 1st. And then I'll go back out on the road. And I'm looking forward to that. And of course, when I do go back on the road, that's assuming I do, they don't change their mind to try to keep me longer or make me an offer I can't refuse to stay. then we'll go back to daily videos at that time. And I think, hopefully I can remember not to mention this every video from now for the next 4 weeks. This video is getting kind of long, so on the personal front, I'm off, of course, Sunday and Monday. I'll be driving home Saturday night after I get out of here, get done with class, and driving down. Drive's going to be a real pain in the butt because of the holidays, I just know it. Down there and back. Unfortunately, my stepson's already gone to his biological father for the summer. I talked to him earlier, and I'm going to miss him. And my wife leaves 5 o'clock tomorrow morning to head to Canada with the rest of the Boy Scout troop. And so I'm not going to see her probably till like the second or third week of July. And but I'm going down there to check on my son. My daughter's birthday is next week, so I'm taking all 3 of my children out to a big dinner Sunday night, just the 4 of us. That hasn't happened in a year, so it'd be nice to have just the 4 of us together to eat dinner and talk and spend a little time together for a couple of hours on Sunday. And then I'll be back. That's pretty much it. Been an easy week, and just for information, I do, maybe y'all know I wear a Fitbit and I track my stuff. This month I've walked the most steps in a month that I've ever walked, 445,000 steps during the month of June. That is a lot of walking. I'm averaging about 15,000 steps a day. Some days more, some days a little bit less, but I'm definitely getting my exercise working here. I'm getting more exercise working in these bays than I was working on securing loads, and definitely at my last job. So this is a long one. Haven't had one this long in a while, so I'm going to let you go. So until we speak next time, keep the shiny side up. 73s. See ya.